Hello, footies, and welcome to Foot in Review. We are the number one independent FC24 podcast, bringing you 2 shows a week. We are available on all podcast platforms around the world, including now on Amazon Music, and of course, as a fully produced video show on YouTube and Spotify. And of course, if you can spare a few bucks and join our loyalty programs and get some free merchandise while at it, visit patreon.com/footinreview or footinreview.com and join our super close community and get that invite to our Discord server with that. Today's episode is brought to you by CarMoney, but more about them later. And on that note, let's shout out our Patreon Skybox owners. It's time to say a big thank you to Paul C, Amar L, Archum W, and of course, Peter M. Now let's get this show started. Hello, footies, and welcome back to Foot in Review, episode 559. It is Friday evening when we recorded this, which means it's time for the week in review and, of course, the foot coaching tip of the week. We talked tonight about the fun in FC24. We discussed Centurions. I'll go out on a limb and state why 71 depth isn't a bad thing. And, of course, we have some proper sending questions to answer for you. My name is John, and I'm joined by Mr. Shuffleboard himself, the leader of the pack, the man with the best internet connection in Scotland, but still isn't that good. It's Mr. Teddy Bear himself. It's none other than Chris, Grandpapa Mac, Macintosh.
Hi, John. Hello to all our listeners out there and to the people who are in the 9% club like me. I stand with bugs.
I'm not going to go there. If you're wondering, it's Friday evening and Ingvi isn't here. Unfortunately, Ingvi is unable to make it. Nothing going on, but he'll probably be back next week. But I got Chris for all the content, so it's due 2-man show on a Friday, and there's a lot of content to discuss. So, Chris, we've got a lot of topics. We only have 45 minutes or so. Where do you want to kick off with?
Well, I think people need to strap themselves in because this could be a long show. For people who are going on a drive there, you're going to hear myself and John discuss, is FIFA fun? Could be a long discussion. We've had many a conversation in the Discord, but let's start with the content, John. Let's start it friendly. Centurions. Have you got any initial... Centurions. Any thoughts at the moment? Or do you want me to go through the content and you can pick up on it?
I have to say, that because we, of course, always review the weekly content as well. I think this was also not a very bad week in content. We got the Icon SBC, of course, this week, which Nathan and Daniel discussed as well. Gave me a good Sola, actually, which is one of my favorite icons anyway. So I was really happy with that. I think content this week hasn't been all that bad, has it? The only thing which really bugs me, and I hope this changes with the new promos, is those 84 plus packs where you have toss in an 85 rated team or an 84 rated team to get 2 84 plus cards out of it. That's just silly, mate. So let's hope for them. I would rate this week, actually. I think, the right back was really bad. Forced it. What's the card called we got in?
Foy, I think
Foy,
it is. Yeah,
Foy.
and I think Footbin, there was plenty of thumbs down for that card, wasn't there?
Yeah, and we ran a poll on Instagram. Check it out at FUTcoaching on Instagram. And we asked what people think. Do you want to do it or not? And 92% of the people that voted said, not even going to consider this one. So, yeah, that was a bad card, which was a weird one to close the promo off with as well. So, but generally speaking, I like the Trailblazer promo. And I'm looking forward to Centurions because first is, of course, the one I saw was Gullit, which I'm never, ever going to be able to see. But it's cool to give a Gullit card and 91 rated at the start of the game.
Yeah, he is going to be as rare as unicorn drop-ins, let's be honest with that one. He's absolute fortunes at the moment. As I quickly go and hope that Footbin don't gives me another advert as I pull it up. Yeah, 9 million on the Xbox and the PS5 or PlayStation, and our poor friends on PC. Sorry, they're 11 million. You're going to have to raid that piggy bank, John, if you want that card. Because I doubt very much you're going to pack it unless your good friends at EA are looking after you again. I mean, what can you say? It's a Hulick card. He's Hulick gang. He is the leader of the pack. You know, he's got everything about him. I'm just desperately trying to find his 5-star weak foot. A monster at the start of the game. You know, 91 rated. We're a month or so in, and we're getting this card. This feels like thankfully, will be rare because the people who pack him are going to be absolutely hard to beat, especially with the way the game plays at the moment. And also, I have to say, I like the dynamic image. Really good dynamic image as well from him. It looks a lovely card. I'm a sucker for a good card, but I think 9 million is probably out of my price range.
Out of mine as well. I barely got 1 million now, which for my doing is actually a lot. So, but yeah, 9 million is going to be a little bit too much though. Before we continue though, we have to discuss one icon, which I have been facing this whole week or the last couple of days at least. That's Stoichkov. Who got an SBC as well, which I think was pretty expensive for a 3-star weak foot player.
Yep.
But facing him, his dribbling and his shooting was actually really good, which makes me scared to say that would be a waste of an SBC, which I did say at the start of the week. But I faced him a couple of times. Actually looks pretty good. Could be my opponents having control of him, which makes him good. But then again, keep on coming with those icon SBCs. But Gullit is, of course, one of my favorite players all time. And also in FC24, same as in FIFA 23 and before that, he's just the GOAT of the game.
I mean, yeah, definitely. It's a great card. I mean, I think if you mentioned there about the 3-star week through, I think most people are wondering here, John, is that a great hindrance to someone if they're thinking, look, let's be honest, very few of us listening to the show are going to get Hullet. I'd be surprised if anybody does. But the Stoichkov card, I looked at it, the 3-star weak foot, you being the coach, what would you say to people who are maybe wondering if that is a major weakness of that card?
I think major weakness would be a little bit too much because the rest of the card actually does look good. The issue is I do often think that a weak foot, and this year it feels like a little bit hard. It's a little bit harsher. I do think if you have 5-star weak foot, it's a big advantage over every, for example, 3-star weak foot. 4-star weak foot is doable. I would not go for 3-star weak foot, but I packed Haaland last week, right? He's got a 3-star weak foot as well. But I didn't want to sell it because I'm like, let's keep hold on for him.
Sorry, John, can I just stop you there? You just keep dropping all these names. I'm just picking them up off the floor. That's what you've packed a team of the year, Ronaldo one time. Now it's just a Haaland that you casually just throw in there. Come on.
Haaland is just to be fair, 200k now. It's not no. But 3-star weak foot, but his left foot, his correct foot, I should say, is actually so good and he's so fast and he's so strong that it doesn't really matter, except that one time where he gets the ball turned on his right foot, take a shot and then misses, and like, wish he had 5-star weak foot. But he often comes in and clings the win anyway. So I think that, like, normally if I would have similar rated card, I would never go for Stoichkov, for example, because I think there's better cards with 5-star weak foot available. Haaland is one level above all those cards, but has his disadvantage of 3-star weak foot. Doesn't make me want to pick a lower rated striker so far. Hope that makes sense. I think Haaland is one of the exceptions.
And I don't know if people have seen that, and I may have been wrong, but I think we're getting a Haaland, aren't we, on December 10th if you play the game?
Yeah, I didn't know that actually until this morning. But apparently we get, if you buy the game and play the game before November 1st, which of course is next week already, we get a 87 rated Haaland card somewhere in December, which makes 0 sense, but I guess it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, we have as well, we'll come on to that as well. You know, we've had the game actually looks like it's getting discounted as well. Is there any other kind of players in there, John, that I mean, I can pick out Tomori. He's probably someone who may be in people's price range, you know, around about 455k if my old eyes serve me right, and 705 on the PC. You know, good, strong centre back, 87 pace, 89 defence, 84 physical. You know, looks like he's got decent balance as well.
I think this is one of those shows, Chris, where we're not going to agree on anything. I don't like this card.
Okay.
And I don't like this card because there are better center defenders presently available for cheaper with better playstyles, and especially playstyle plus, for example. He's very fast, I agree. He's got a jockey in the block and a slide tackle, but not anticipate plus or anything fancy like that. And I do really feel that if not for this speed, the speed this card has, he wouldn't be that special. That makes sense with the playstyles. And I was thinking about getting the Marquinhos card this week. The Trailblazer Marquinhos card. And if you look at his playstyles, he's 368 currently, so he's cheaper. He is, of course, slower, definitely. But his defending is better. But he has Anticipate Plus on it. And the Jockey and the Intercept and the Aerial, regular ones. I would be far more inclined to get the Marquinhos card over Tomori. Because I also think that counters aren't the end-all this year. And speed on defenders matters less than proper playstyles.
Okay, so that's maybe something for people to think then. I mean, maybe I'm a FIFA 23 player and I always look at the pace first and foremost, and playstyles is maybe something I'm not completely familiar with. So you're saying that the Anticipate is probably a good one to try and look for?
Anticipate Plus, yeah. The pluses are great. Aerial pluses as well, very good against people that try to cross. And a combination of both actually works. And I think Tomori fills on that part, which is hard. It's not a bad card at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the choice, I would go for Marquinhos personally, which will go into the 71 discussions in a moment, because that actual discussion is the exact reason why I think speed doesn't matter too much in this game on defenders.
Okay.
Cliffhanger for later in the show.
Well, let's see if we can find a player then, John, that you do like, right? This one you must like. Everybody loves him. We don't see his goal card that much. It is our good friend Mendy, left back, plays for Real Madrid. 85 rated left back here. A cool 1.2 million on the consoles, 1.3 on the PC. He has playstyles. I'm going to read them out now. Block, Rapid, and Flare. What's your thoughts on that card, John?
I'm going to be so critical, I know already. So I would never pay 1.2 million for a left back, period. Not at this stage of the game, maybe at the team of the year phase of it, right? But I think that's, if you look at the base stats, of course, he's tremendously fast. He's got a 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves. High. He's got all the stats in all the right places, but he does not have... what I like to do with my fullbacks is they overlap and they cross, or they give a good pass. So I want them to have the incisive pass one, or even better, the whipped pass one. I think it's the... something like that is playstyle called. I need to remember all those names on top of my mind. It is, I think it's the whipped pass. Yeah, I like to have those on my fullbacks because of the crosses they can give. And then Mendy himself, if you look at his passing, he has got 76 curve. He's got 82 long passes and 81 crossing, which isn't that terrific, and the playstyles don't improve on the actual shooting or actually passing as well, which makes this a very defensive-minded left back, but also being in high left back, which for me doesn't make sense to play in my team. One, he doesn't support the playstyle I'm playing. Two, yes, he can catch up, but he needs to catch up because he's so fast, but he has no extra value going up. So I wouldn't want this card to go up all that much. Mm-hmm. And if you then look at the price, I'm like, there's just no way I'll be putting him on the team. If I pack him, I'll definitely give him a run. But I'd also think here, for example, there are better cards available for far less price. And I think, and I'm just going to check this out before I actually pull the trigger on this, but I think, yes, the playstyle from Robertson, which is their Rapid playstyle, Rapid Plus, and Robertson's 200k. It's the Andrew Robertson from the Trailblazers. He has the regular pink pass with pass and relentless playstyles. He's got 89 crossing, for example, on him, and he's also high. Sure, he's got a 2-star weak foot, but he's left-footed and he's a left back, so he would fit my style way more. And he's on just 200k. That would be a left back, which I would say, you know what? I'd spend money on him.
Okay.
Critical, eh?
Very critical, mate, John. I'm struggling here. Right.
I try to explain why, though. So maybe that helps.
Okay, here's one that you may not know about then. Would you spend 10,000 coins on 84 rated Llorente, then spend either 150,000 coins or 2,000 FIFA points to make a Centurions box-to-box midfielder. As you quickly look up Footbin, I've sprung this one, listeners, on John.
Yes, so honestly, it's not bad value.
We've won a watch here, guys. We're getting there. We've broke them down.
Llorente is a terrific card, especially when you see an upgraded version of him going up, right? The 87 rated one, his base is all over. It's like tremendous. But Chris, tell me this. Does he get any playstyle pluses added to him?
I don't believe he does. I've got here that he gets power shot, whipped pass, rapid, quick step, relentless, bruiser, and ping pass.
Yes, so he does not. Then again, an 87 Llorente card like this, 4-star weak foot, I think it's like 150k then?
150k to buy the evolutions in there. So I think,
and play a lot of games. I think that's honestly not a bad option, if I'm quite honest. I don't think it'd be my perfect midfielder because I'm a really fan of the press proven playstyle on players, especially when I play a 4-4-2 mainly. I just want to give these centre midfielders the ball, and hopefully they can't lose it, because if they do lose it, I'm in trouble. So Llorente would not fit my box to box. It wouldn't fit my playstyle. How I played my game. Then again, 150k for this card. Normally, I'd say that's a no-brainer.
I mean, I think just looking at it, so people just need to be aware. Have a look at it. I mean, I am a little bit disappointed. I cannot understand why EA are putting these behind a paywall. We'll get on to evolutions if I've got time later on in the show as well. But that one there, though, I'll be honest with you, John, when I look at that card and then I look at the Odegaard card that's an SBC tonight, which I think is 300 odd K for a 90 rated card there with a 3-star weak foot, 325k. It is an SBC, so you can put your dupes in as well. I think that Llorente card is by far better value.
Yes, but a little bit of downside. I think 150k for a player on the market, which you can get back later, and 150k to just sink to an untradeable player, which you can't upgrade anymore. Eva's not going to be used again, probably, right? That's not the same. I think Llorente is a great evolution card, right? 50k would do it instantly, but everyone would. The only thing I'm afraid of with the Evos currently is if they continue like this, how does 1 month from now look like? You got to pay 500,000 coins to do an Evo. Yeah.
No, I get that. And this is what we're talking about with Sean. If you don't mind me just quickly talking about the evolutions from my point of view, I listened to the guys on the show, and I think it was yourself talking about it. For me, and we've talked about this before the show, and you made a really interesting point, John, that probably EA are learning on the job with this mode. But what it would have been great for someone like myself, who supports a relatively small team in Rangers, and the players are never going to get, a lot of upgrades. If they'd put actually a roadmap that was kind of how they're going to see from the start of the game to the end of the game, you take a bronze player, one of the youth team players or whoever in the team, and you can boost this guy throughout the whole cycle of the game to eventually get the end of the season when we've all got tots and footies and whatever else we've got. We won't be footies this year, but whatever they're going to be called, those guys can be stretched to a 94 or a 95 or whatever. That would have been absolutely a win from EA, and that I don't think would have took that much, to get a striker or a Todd Cantwell, as I keep mentioning every time I come on the show. For yourself, John, I mean, you're fairly lucky. Your team's flying in the Champions League at the moment. They're going to get some major cards there. Guys like John Talking Foot, who supports St Johnstone, or even, Wimby, who supports Reading with Charlie Savage. If there'd been an actual roadmap that we could say at the start of the game, you guys can have this player, and by the end of the game, you'd have had that. What also would have been is it would have encouraged engagement in the game as well, John, and it's hopefully something that EA take on board. I know they listen to the show. If you're listening there, guys, you can take the idea. We'd love an R9 icon. Just drop that in my account. I'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah, let me know if that happens, though. And that's the point with this, right? But it's also 40 games, if I quickly counted them. Something like that. That's a lot of games, Chris, for an 87 rated midfielder. And to spend 150k on. I mean, I get one on. I play a weekend league, play the whole week, play 40 games, get probably more out of that, financially wise. It's like you have to. Laurent isn't a bad card, so you can probably start him for a while, I guess. Right? I think it's a little bit much. No, I'm just saying it. I think this is a little bit much. I think it's the fun idea was to get low rated cards in to get them up higher. This one starts actually pretty high and is a pretty good card already. And then getting into an 87, but have to work for it for the whole week, for example, and spend 150k on. You might get an inform next week, which would be run 86, right? I like the free Evo a lot better.
Right? But just for me, Laurent is a great card in game. You know, the card that we had last year, I think it was a FUTs, was just tremendous. It's a wonderful card to play with. It makes the game, you know, so much more interesting. And if the pack weight we all feel is quite low at the moment, you know, I know you packed Haaland, and there's been very few big pools in our Discord, and it's a busy Discord as well. You know, patreon.com/ I keep getting that wrong, John. What is it? / Foot and Review. Yeah. I practice that all the time. Practice it in the mirror. I get it wrong.
Just footandreview.com. You'll find it.
You'll find us there. Come join the Patreon. That place is buzzing. But even there, we look at our pack pools. There's no major trailblazers in there. There's no many major icons in there. You know, Team of the Weeks. This is going to be a problem, as I say, going forward. We've mentioned that as well in our discussions. That the fact that you can't get Team of the Weeks now from Weekend League rewards, and they still include them in the SBCs, that's going to cause a problem. Those cards are going to start to spring up in value. So, yeah, I just think, to be fair, I just think it's a great card. I just love that card. And it would, something, EA, I'll be honest with you, it's maybe something I would consider spending FIFA points on. I don't really want to use my coins at the moment, but it's maybe something that I'd seriously look at. And that is an individual choice for everybody in terms of FIFA points. But there is one card that I think we're all going to agree on. It's the person I call the Weasel. It's Pop Goes the Weasel, 90 rated striker, 5-star weak foot, plays for Wolfsburg, female Bundesliga. But the best thing about her, John, Pop, she has got a 5-star weak foot. And she is
Financial plus.
Yes, and she's 72k. People are listening to this show. I wonder if she's going to be 72k. Is this a case of the people not sure about female players? She's 5'9", so she's not bad height, not too tall. You stick a Hunter on them, because I know she's a little bit slow. 87 acceleration, 88 sprint speed, boosts her positioning, boosts her finishing, boosts her shot power to 98. Is there much wrong with this card?
No, I just opened my first pack and she popped up. Nah. That's a joke, sorry. Hey, Chris.
Oh, mate, you've just popped my bubble there. Come on.
Chris. No, I don't think anything is wrong with this card. I also don't believe it's the female aspect being a problem in this situation. Why she's relatively cheap. I tell you why she's cheap, though. The way Bundesliga links, or what the way female leagues link with other leagues. For example, I ran Cancelo, I ran Frankie de Jong, and I ran Patri, the female from Barcelona, 88 midfielder, which is a terrific card. I had to put in one more male Barcelona player to get them all in full cam, which is just too much.
Yeah.
Right? They should have made the female leagues count as same as the male leagues. Then, if this would be regular Bundesliga, if that makes sense, of male Bundesliga, this card would be played. But it's so hard to find, like you got Magul, for example, pretty cool cards, but not end-all if you compare to the other cards in the league, which makes it really hard to use Pop in your main team on a high chemistry. And at this stage of the game, when you do take chemistry out, let's say she's on 1 chem, for example, right? And then you give her a Hunter, it's just a +2 or +1 on most stats. And I think that's, at this stage of the game, it's a huge difference. Look, I don't care about chemistry, but I do care about chemistry in the first 2 months of the game.
Okay, I get that.
Then the players level up, and then the difference isn't too much anymore because the stats are already on a real high level. 73 agility on a smaller player. Not perfect either. So I think this card is really cool. I think the Financial Plus really helps. 5-star weak foot is terrific. But I wouldn't know how to link her.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. I mean, it looks a wonderful card when you see it. It's weird as well, isn't it? Because when you turn those cards over and look at the leagues, you've got German 1 on the male players, German 1 on the female players, and again, as you say, you just wonder why they aren't linked up. It just doesn't make any sense, and it's just unfortunate as well. Unless we start to see. That's one to potentially bear in mind as well, though, as Team 2 comes out. If there's like another female Bundesliga player that's really high rated as well, maybe one to keep your eye on. I think that card will score you a lot of goals. But you're right, John. I think without the Hunter being on full chem, it's maybe one that you're going to have to pass on.
Yeah, and it's you don't have to, but I think the difference is just a little bit too much. But anyways, I do like the card on its own. Reminder that like the 5-star weak foot is terrific with financial. It's brilliant. I also like how she's got power header and 95 jumping, but she's just 5'9", which is a funny combination. But problem is Wolfsburg. Do you know players from Wolfsburg that you would currently use in a squad? There's none, right?
Yeah, no, it's all.
So I packed the pop card, the gold card this week as well, a couple of times. Actually twice, I think, from the upgrades, which were good to put into SBCs, of course. But that's it. You put them in SBCs because even though everything looks great on that card as well, she's a little bit too slow and I can't just link.
Yeah. And then just finally, there's an objective card out there. Daniel Pereira, he plays for PSG. He's 86 rated CDM. I could tell you what the objectives you need to do are, but they're exactly the same probably from last week. Let's be honest. It's
exactly, yeah.
So we're not going to waste any time on the show. For someone who enjoys squad battles like myself, especially now they're shorter, and you're after rewards, it's maybe one you just look at rewards, just see what you can get, guys. It's pretty easy to get. Got the Palacio card, just doing the rewards. And as well as if you have a look through your objectives, look in the milestones, you'll find the league ones. There's some easy ones there. There's some easy wins to get, Eredivisie players or female EPL players as well. So, guys, just knock yourselves out with that. And to be honest with you, if you've not done squad battles, it's actually quite decent fun this time. Very quick games, you'll notice. You can rattle through them very easy.
It's definitely not as bad as it used to be. That's my statement about it. Mm-hmm. Even I do them sometimes. And I might actually do them, Chris, because there's one thing which makes me want to practice or play squad battles this week, probably.
What's that?
The Centurions Sharpshooter FC24 Evolution, the free one.
Mm-hmm.
This can make a 77 rated card into a maximum 87 rated card.
Oh, brilliant.
And it's free. You have to assist 20 goals. You have to win 20 squad battles, but those you can all do. It's a lot of matches, but you can all do them in squad battles. But for example, you talked about for supporting your club. I checked out and I had the Paxao card from Feyenoord.
Mm-hmm.
He is 77 rated, and of course, when you he's 77 rated. He's got 86 speeds, 96 shooting. If he's upgraded, he's a 91 rated or 87 rated left winger, 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, 91 pace, 84 shooting, 88 dribbling, 70 70 dribbling. So a 98 jumping. He's got he's high medium, which of course is great, and he has the technical normal shot and a finesse shot and a Travella playstyles. Not the plus, but it's a free card, and it's final play. I think if final does go higher and you get the Wifu card upgraded as well soon, not a bad card for free. Mm-hmm. I like this one way more than the other Evolution one.
But John, if you're going to do it, go on, tell the listeners how you say Paxao when he scores a goal against me. Go on, you have to
Igor
do it.
Paxao.
That's not how you do it, John. Come on now.
I won't do that on air, right?
Guys, just so you know, he came over Edinburgh and we played Rangers versus Feyenoord, and Paxao as glitchy as anything. You can't get the ball off him. John, full meta player, does all that fancy dribbling that I can't do, and then when he scores, you get the Paxao. That's what he does.
I did.
Yeah, no,
It is true.
It's a great card, John. I actually have him in my club, and I may consider doing him, mate, just for the fact that he scored so many goals against me here in Edinburgh.
He's good, eh?
Yeah, he's very good, mate. Yeah, it's very good. Just on that, John. Just as a quick, we've got a chat there from Waterman's asking. He says, "Do we feel that card types should get max chem? You know, like team of the week 1 links with team of the week 1 gives max chem or specific promos."
No.
There you go.
No,
Sorry about my friend.
Could be. I think that could be very broken. Like you pack 2 or 3 team of the year cards later on, and those 3 team of the year cards would link with each other. I would set your team up right. So
yeah,
I wouldn't like that would be. No, I think that would be broken, honestly. And same for today. Like if you do have Pop and you can link it with Odegaard and you can link that one with the Kyoto card, well, and then put Mendy left back and they all would help each other with the chemistry. It sort of starts to feel broken. So, nope. I like the idea though. I do think they have to change something, but I would just make the female leagues and the male leagues count as the same league. I think that's then more over there.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
Chris.
Yes.
Talk about halfway there. We're halfway through the show, which means it's time for a little commercial break. After the break, though, we're going to discuss the fun in FC24. I'll go out on a limb again and state why the 71 depth isn't a bad thing, and you're going to convince me why this game sometimes really, really sucks. We'll be right back.
This show is sponsored by CarMoney, the car finance ninjas, fighting to make cars affordable and accessible for everyone, no matter your financial situation. Nikki, the car finance ninja here, compares the top car finance lenders in both the UK and Australia to get you the best possible price so you don't have to, and they can get you approved fast. All you need to do is choose your new car and drive away happy. Get in touch with one of their friendly ninjas and start your car finance journey today.
And we're back. Had a good break, Chris?
Very much so. Very much so. I went and did the Paxau card. He's 87 rated now in my club.
Baxo!
There you go, guys.
That one. Especially for you guys. And Andy says in chat, back 2 or 3 team of the year cards. Tell us you have great backlog without telling us. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that, though. Chris, we ran a poll this week. Is FC24 fun or not for you? You can only choose between yes or no. We didn't give an answer in between because we just wanted to know if it's all black and white like that. 47% of all people that voted says, yes, I am very much enjoying it. And 53% said, no, it's not fun for me. Just Aaron says it's the best it's been in 5 years. Food AST, our dear friend Nender, says, I am shocked 47% said, yes, this is a very interesting. I thought it would be close to 7%. Food Stat Strike, our dear friend, would check out this app, by the way, says there's no difference in FIFA 23 or this because the servers are still inconsistent. Carl says, I kind of enjoy it for a few games, but I soon get sick of it. With 90% of the player base running the 71 depth, for the auto press, it becomes boring fast. And Game Boy says, it's not fun at the moment, but it's more down to the player base than gameplay. Everyone is 71 press, direct passing, everyone's back, etc., and just killing the game. For every 2 to 3 wins I get with my non-meta tactics instructions, I'm being scudded in for 4 to 5, as they're too overpowered. I really, really like the game. You really, really don't like the game, as in you don't have fun with the game.
Yes.
So
that's exactly that.
We asked around, I said, people, what's going on? Send us in questions. Do you like this game? What's going on? Now, we know all the people that voted, but we also have people sending in questions concerning the same topic. And the most questions are people forgetting how to have fun in this game? There's so much to do. Aaron asks, have FC24 players have forgotten how to have fun with this game? There's so much negativity about what EA aren't doing, how bad the game is, but the good stuff gets lost. Well, I would say, Chris, explain your reasoning why you don't think it's fun, but also, what do we consider fun?
So, I want to prefix our listeners first here. By the way, we are going to talk about a skill issue. We are not meaning to insult anybody on this, so please do not fall out with us. We are still your good friends. But there is a certain skill issue for me, and I'm going to talk about me personally, and that I am struggling with the game. Last year, the game suited me, my style of play more. for there. And I fully accept that it's a skill issue. We've had one coach this week on Twitter say it's quite funny that people are blaming the game and not blaming themselves. And then further tweeted that, do people actually go back and look at what goals they've lost or rewatch matches? Well, actually, I do. I'll be honest with you. I've been coached really well by John and the team there. I do go back and I look at my games, but there's certain parts of this game where my skills that I have are not gelling well with the game. I'm not particularly great at skill moves. It does seem that they are quite overpowered. The passing game seems rather slow in terms of moving the ball. So I think for that point of view, the guys playing the high depth and people who like to pass, that's where we're struggling ever so slightly. But my issue with the game is that you're forced to play a thing I would call horseshoe football. You'll believe me, I'm a Rangers fan. I know exactly what horseshoe football is. I've been watching it for the past 2 seasons. That's where your centre-back gets the ball. He passes to his other centre-back, who passes to the left-back or the right-back, and they go up the wing a little bit. They pass forward to the wide players. But the ball doesn't go in the box because it's too compact. The players have managed to get around you. The ball then comes back to the right back and left back, and it just is like a horseshoe going backwards and forwards from the back to the sides and back again. Now, again, as I say, it's a skill issue on my part. I accept that. But I just find the gameplay is a little bit turgid and becomes a little bit samey.
That's a professional build-up opinion, Chris.
Thank you for that.
Hold on. Also, Chris and me are not fighting. And some people were asking, we're definitely not fighting. We just have a difference of opinion, which, like regular adults, we can just discuss. So just putting that out there, because a lot of people actually asked us this week, Chris, if we were all right doing it. So we are. No worries. I even stayed at a row last week.
Yes, bro.
Chris, I get what you're saying. And I also want to put a little emphasis on the, between quotes, skill issue. It's nothing to do with a lack of skill, right? I think this game is just built differently than all the games before. And because the contrast between those games is so stark, there's much more manual doing this year. The adaptation to it actually could take a little bit longer. There are certain things you do in the previous game which just doesn't work anymore. If you just select the CDMs and don't select your center defenders, and they take a shot and you haven't selected the player in front of it, it just won't get blocked. So you can see the goal, right? Also, for some reason, this year, goalkeepers have been very, very inconsistent, which makes sometimes getting a goal conceded very frustrating. And that's definitely not a skill issue. That is just, I don't know, the wind blowing in a different direction every single time Ederson gets a ball on target. I don't know what the problem is. But there's a couple of things which are very easy to pull off. For example, doing a 71 depth on a game. For example, tackling the ball hard before they get in the goal, and step overs. Some kill moves are a little bit too easy. R1 holding for the dribble when you have technical plus play styles might be a slight bit too easy. So that's where people fall back to. Because if you don't know what your strength is, what you could at in something, you go back at what you're best at or what's easiest to start with. That's just common human behavior, I guess, right? I can't drive a car on the left side of the road in Scotland, Chris, but I can do it almost without checking here, right? So it's a bit of it. It's not a skill issue. It's just a different environment where you have to do it in. Putting all those things aside, my main point is it's a different game and people need to be a little bit patient with building up. I play way more consistent now than I did 4 weeks ago. And I struggled 2 weeks ago. I'm still not at the level I want to be, but I see so much progress and I'm actually pretty satisfied with the progress I made. I think it's a little bit about expectations. So I'm not in the elite division yet. Am I doubtful I will get there? I'm not. Am I doubtful I will get there this season? Well, I probably won't. But I'm actually okay with that because it's new game. Basically that. You see a lot of people dropping back to the old generation game. That makes perfect sense because it's the old generation game. It's actually the old game, period. It hasn't got anything of the new things built into it. So you're playing the same game you did before, which makes it easier for you and makes it feel better. Because when people say this game isn't fun, very often that's relatable to two things, in my honest opinion, Chris. One, they're not winning. Or two, they're not packing anything. Because this week I said, hey, I'm actually enjoying it. And then the first answer I got, yeah, but you're a good player and you got a good backlog this year. So of course you're enjoying it. Like, yeah, but most of the time I just play draft, right? Don't even use my own team. And I play draft because I actually like the gameplay. Now here it comes, 71 depth. I think that's where my key point was. And I've been saying this all week. I don't think 71 depth is an issue. I also don't want it changed currently. Certain reason. If you have a meta or a game where you put the stamina drain on players back, like we did last year. We had the same issue last year, Chris. Mm-hmm. And we had the same issue a year before that, where 71 depth ran rampant. And people, there were two things happening. If you 71 depth and you put the stamina drain down, nobody's going to use it anymore. And you're just facing 4-2-3-1 or 5 at the backs against each other all the time. And it's just going to be a counter meta. You get the ball, spam the ball forward because you don't, how do you say it? You don't have that openness of players stepping out. If 71 depth actually works, I think it works pretty well now. You do have options to play out of it. We spoke about Feyenoord this week. Lazio was playing very high on Feyenoord players, and they played back, used the goalkeeper, and played out of this. And every time they made it to the midfield from playing out of pressure, there was an option coming, an attacking option coming open. That isn't that different this year in FC24. It is just a matter of the fact that you have to stay calm, and it feels really strong. You never get a breathing time, if that makes sense. I played a couple of matches this afternoon with Nate, like testing this theory as well. Okay, let's hope we face a lot of these pressure tech teams, and we're just going to play cool. And every time we just played cool, we just won 3-4-0, all due to counters, just opening up. They lose the ball on top. We get plenty of space because they try to pressure us even more. Fullbacks are out of position, and it's actually pretty easy to do. The main thing we did, and this is a gameplay tip, foot coaching tip of the week as well, if you play the ball forward and you play against a player that's actually on the 71 depth, they will always be directly behind your players that get the ball, right? And you do this very well, Chris. The first thing you got to do when you play the ball into a player of you, doesn't matter if it's center defender or fullback, a midfielder or a striker, first thing you do is take one step back. So say you play from left to right, you play the ball to the right, the player that gets the ball first move one step to the left. If he's on 71 depth, and if it's a player that just blindly presses, you will have space to turn around and just go past them. You can just turn around. You always have space to open up something. Most of these 71 depth players are playing fast build-up, forward ball or long ball, right? Forward runs or long ball. 71% of these players, you can just easily get the ball forward, take one step back, turn around, send one of your players up, and you're done. You're through. You just have to make sure you use your goalkeeper. It really helps if you don't lose the ball with your fullbacks. That's the thing I see very often this week. It even helps if you put your fullbacks on conservative interception, so they hold the line a little bit better. And if you take your first step towards your own goal, no matter where you play the ball in, you will have space, because dribbling is so easy in this game, to just turn around and dribble past or even pass past the player that actually is coming into you. I don't want 71 depth changed, because that will eventually lead, especially when players get better, to 4-3-1s, 4-2-2s, 5 at the backs, 5-4-1s you saw last year, that just sit back, put 10 men in the box. Even get a little bit of emotional now, you know that. Put 10 men in the box and we get a finesse shot simulator, because that's then the only way you can still score. Or you are on defense, you're the worst of the two players. You are the one on defense, back in your own box, get the ball, hoof it forward, go for a counter. Because that's what they'll end up to. In the current state of the game, if you practice on being able to deal with it, I'm not connection withstanding, but if you are able to practice with it, you actually have the option to sit back and counter. You actually have the option to press, and you have the option to play possession football. If they change it, my fear is they change it too much, and it will end up just being a drop back simulator again.
So wise words, John. Wise words for everybody out there listening. I'm sure we're all going to practice that as we play this week. All I'd say as well, though, John, is you say there has to be some sort of stamina drain, though, for someone who's pressing. I mean, there has to be some more intelligent AI. You can't have 5 players round one player with the ball, you know, and as I say, constantly having to shove it back all the time. I mean, because that's what happens. Let's be honest. Sometimes you get your fullback and he'll be isolated. You know, he's got 5 players around him and his teammates are away up the park having a hot dog or a chat, talking about what's happening on the telly. That's the problem. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I find the issue with the game, and that's where sometimes I feel that I understand there's not so many auto blocks, etc. I'm really no bothered about that. What bothers me is that it seems to be that when you play that high pressure game, your players are more intelligent than the rest of the players on my team. Because my guys are just standing there looking, thinking, oh, he can deal with it. Well, actually, why are my players not moving like his players? That's why it would combat it. So, yeah, either it has to be a sort of stamina drain so that someone who's not playing that can hang in the game there, hang in there, you know, and get to the 65, 70 minutes and then, you know, take over. Or the attacking players have to show more intelligence.
One thing I should add there, maybe, that helps. And it is actually in an official pitch notes before the game got launched. When you do have the ball at a sideline, there are players who are on 71 depth, or actually anyone above 44 depth on top of my mind, will press towards that side. So they're always, even if they're on 80 depth, it doesn't matter. If you go to your sideline, there will always be an opening on the other side. Like, period. It's just programmed in the game. Why is 5 at the back forbidden in pro tournaments? Because you always have an out, no matter what happens. But if you play back to your goalkeeper, the fullback, say you go to the byline down on the down line, they will press, you turn around, pass the ball to your goalkeeper. You can blindly play the ball to your left fullback because there's always going to be space there because their players have programs to move along to the down line as well. And the main mistakes I see when people doing that is they panic. Well, that makes sense because they're not used to playing that all the time, which is now the game. Or they pass too fast. Just wait until they're a little bit closer to give yourself time on the other side. So I always say, go to the byline, take 2 seconds, turn around, pass your goalkeeper, open on the other side. You're actually fine. Nathan this afternoon, he did a lot, pass to the fullback, had fullbacks that can give great passes, used the manual pass, which is on PlayStation, I think, hold R1 and the pass button, the cross button, or RB and the cross button. And you can see the marker move all the way. And he actually was able to pass it constantly while being applied pressure from the right fullback to the left winger and being all open. So, and we had the strikers on safe forward. 9 out of 10 times we just got an opportunity out of it. So, hey, they press, we go back to the fullback, we run to the sideline, open up on the other side with a manual pass. And it just worked all the time. This was in Div 2, right? This is not, we didn't just play each other or anything. So, I get the frustration out of it, but I'm actually glad it's there because it is definitely, if you look at it objectively, not broken. Because else, that's the other thing. If you look at Div 1 Elite Division, the pro tournaments this week, they all will be running it. And in this situation, there were some running it. Most were just on 55, 45 depth. And I think if it was actually broken, too good, everyone would just use it and all matches will end up 6-6. And that wasn't the result this week either. So just giving some bit of perspective and hopefully also some tips to everyone listening on how to deal with this. But byline or sideline, will force them towards you. Wait until they come for you. Be safe. Practice the manual pass. You hold R1, you do a pass. You see the cursor move. You can place it anywhere. If you practice that, not only is it good for crossing, it's also good for through balls. And playing basic formations like a 4-4-2, which has symmetry on the wings as well, will give you plenty of options to go out. And hopefully brings back the fun.
Well, it's great tips, John. The only thing I would say on that is, though, I have found in this game that the cross ball is a lot slower than 23. And it's allowing the team who are the pressing to go from, you fire that cross ball. If that player hasn't got the whipped cross, certain players are great at it, but some fullbacks don't have it.
You need to play style. I agree.
You need that play style whip cross. That's the truth of it, because what they've done is they've nerfed the Travella cross, haven't they? Which was everybody could do in FIFA 23. If they still had that, you'd be able to whip the ball, no problem. You have to have certain...
Not a bad thing though, they nerfed that one.
I know, but it was also quite a decent way to expand the game as well. That, I think, is if they're going to allow the 73 to feel overpowered, then they should do something with the crossball speed, potentially increase that ever so slightly.
I think that's why I said why I'm critical of my fullbacks. I don't want Mendy necessarily on the place, because he wouldn't be able to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I want the players to be like. I know that's the biggest advantage as well, Chris. Everyone plays this, not everyone, but let's say 80% of people play this. If something is meta or very often used, I don't think you think it's meta, but it's very often used, you can deal with it. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Like if crossing is the main way to score, you can put 2 big defenders on this year, but aerial plus if you have them, and probably you'll be fine, right? But if you see Hemp on the left winger, they're going to cross, for example, right? And if you see a formation with 4-2-4, they're going to be able to press. So Waterman says in chat, it's why Trent Alexander-Arnold has managed to stay in the team. I totally get that, because he has that cross. He doesn't have the speed to catch up, why I recommend conservative on the fullback, for example. But he definitely, when he has the ball, he can just toss it to the left wing and no problem, man. And it's fast. So I think play styles, I know many people are complaining about it, but I think it actually adds some smartness to building your own teams, sort of how you want to play. That makes sense. Not necessarily these players have the best stats, so that's why I need to play this. No, I need to play Bolton with centre midfielder. He can't lose the ball, so I need one with tiki-taka and or the proven pressure thingy on them. While others are like, I just need 2 CDMs to be able to block the ball. You definitely need different play styles for that. So you get yourself the Contes. And I think that's actually a fun part of it. That's one of the biggest reasons why I find this game is sort of fun. Look at the team. What do I play? How does it fit? Which play styles do I need? That's what I appreciate. And I quite like that the 71 depth is there. And I know people will hate me for it, because it will also open up the doors to other types of play styles. Which, if it's not there, we'll get only one play style. And we've seen this year after year after year after year. We'll all be 4-2-3-1. We'll all be drop back. We'll all be counter. And if you're now complaining about through balls, if you see a nerf on that stamina drain while playing the pressure tactics, well, good luck, but you'll be back into true ball central, and you will be going back to a 5-4-1 meta.
Understandable, mate. Understandable. This
Chris is like,
I know, you're something. You make great points, John. I'll be honest with you. You make great points, and this is one of the reasons why we get upset on the Discord, because we go back and forth like this on this chat all the time about it. Again, though, as I just say, is that what you're then saying, John, is there's certain players like the Mendy card that's out. It's a super expensive card that doesn't have the whip cross. That card could potentially is redundant in this game. So, there's swings and roundabouts with everything. It has to be...
That's not bad, though, because if you make him 200,000 coins or 300,000 or 400,000, it's a pretty good left back, which you use to defend. Mm-hmm. And you have to open up to your right fullback, for example, to give those crosses or to get out of pressure, which is fine. You use Mendy to lay back on your goalkeeper and then go on the other side.
I get that, John, but again, it's, as I say, it's a game where potentially the fun has been sucked out of it a little bit. We've went back for a game at FIFA 23, which probably I hated at the start as well, because I'm the same every time the game changes. But this game...
I remember that one, yeah.
This game, though, is taken hard. I said in the chat, and people might know the reference, but this is very much Marmite. It's a thing that people either love or people hate. And
you could say Iron Brew.
No, everybody loves Iron Brew, mate, apart from the Dutch. That's the problem. You drive on the wrong side of the road, you hate Iron Brew. Do you know what I mean? But we actually, to be fair, got you to eat pies. You enjoyed having a pie as well.
I did. I liked haggis as well, honestly.
You liked haggis, so we'll let you off with that. But that just, again, the problem is, if that becomes the case then, John, as you say, the 73 depth, then those players with the whipped cross, they become the meta. So actually, you don't have a balanced game now. What you've got, all you've done is move the meta from through balls to high press to winged to whipped crosses. So there is a meta somewhere in the game. So the balance probably isn't quite right.
No, so I think there's always one meta, just basically means most effective tactics available, right? And I think there's a difference between the most effective tactics available or the most commonly played tactics. Usually they can be the same. And this year I'm disagreeing on the fact that the 71, which we see a lot, is actually the best way to play this game, because I disagree on that wholeheartedly. I think it's a very easy way to get your wins in. I doubt there's many players doing 71 depth and get 20-0 in weekend league or play in elite division. Just can't see it happen. It's too inconsistent for that, and it's too easy. There's several ways to counter it, which will lead to inconsistency. Like every time we see a meta, like an actual meta, which is also good, arise, it is because it's stable, it's consistent. This isn't consistent. And that is why I think most of those players will, maybe not this season because it's all over the place yet, but next season after first relegation starts to happen, you'll see the players that play 71 depth being stuck on a certain level, with a exception there now and there, right? Mm-hmm. But most will be stuck on a certain level because if they go higher up, that style will get punished. And I think that's what you'll see happen. That's why we didn't see it much on the pro scene last week either. Watch the tournaments and watch the online and watch the pro ladder going on. There are players doing it. Most are going for balance and consistency. And therefore, I'm glad they didn't change it yet. Give us a couple more weeks to get into that knowledge. And I agree. I saw some gameplay matches this week for players that's in the matches, which were like Div 6 currently, which is a pretty decent level. I'm going to complain about that at all. But 90% of what they faced was the 71 pressure tactic. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
On the other side, it's the best way to practice, because if you do get consistent and you can practice against these opponents every single game, you will be able to get out of it if you just stick to those pointers, I think.
Yeah, great. I mean, as I say, John, great tips. We also have great discussions on it. The only thing I'd say that kind of hinders the gameplay is there's a feeling that when you make a tackle and the ball breaks, for some reason it always seems to fall to the attacking team. Now, is that just me being a bit salty about it, or have you seen that in the games you've analysed? When you make a tackle, the ball always, it seems to be that the tackle seems a bit weaker than the attacking player.
I think it's more inconsistent than before. And I think that could definitely be one thing they should be looking into. Because often I think it's better to just hold the jockey button and walk into someone and actually do a tackle. But if you do the hard tackle, which is R1 or RB, and just tackle, and you do get it right, it is right. It's like they're done. But that one's a bit too risky. I think there should be a little bit of a middle ground there. Often you are in a position, they just fumble through, it bounces off you and goes back. It has to do with the statistics, with the stats, which I've reached out. Apparently the stats make a difference in that happening as well. So maybe when better players coming in, it will get less. But currently, it can be a bit of a frustration when you think you've done everything right, and it still goes in. But it's the same why I say goalkeeping is so frustrating for me, because sometimes they just shoot in the middle and the goalkeeper sort of falls sideways or sort of falls forwards a little bit instead of actually falling sideways, which the ball just passes past him. Happens a lot with some goalkeepers, which is also one of the frustrations, because if you can't do anything about it, that's when gameplay gets frustrating.
No, I agree. That you're right. That probably is the thing where you go, I made the tackle, everything was right. Why is this defender just standing there and all of a sudden the attacker has picked the ball up and he's scored a goal? You think that is unfair, and that's probably what causes a lot of frustration for people.
Yeah, put your jockey into it, like hold L2 or tap L2 when you're next. It does help. Mm-hmm. It gets more consistent, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, we actually agreed on something.
We do, mate. We always agree eventually. It does take maybe it's taken 5 days, but we've managed to get there.
You actually didn't want to come on the show tonight with us, but hey, then you had to cancel, so I'm glad you did.
No, for sure, mate.
I appreciate it.
You always, I will say, mate, you always get honest debate on this show. That is why we're the number one independent FC24 podcast out there. You'll always get an honest answer from them. We might not necessarily agree with each other. We are still friends. If you don't agree with anything that we've said, get in touch with us. Come join the Discord. I won't say the address again because I always get it wrong. But if you go to FUTcoaching.com, you'll be able to find us. You'll catch us on all the Twitters, etc. as well.
Definitely. Go check out our socials, though. Instagram and TikTok. We're very active now there. We also do polls. What do you want to discuss on the show? Leave us any comments or questions there. Just leave an hashtag question so we know it's actually a question. On some of these social reels just blew up, and I honestly can't keep up with all the comments if I'm honest. So make sure there's a good hashtag or something there to highlight it, else we miss it. And I just want to appreciate everyone because the numbers of the show have been through the roof lately. So we appreciate your support, listening to us. Those 5-star reviews, I can't keep up with them, but it means the world. Like if I wake up and I see a 5-star review, or I see someone sending an email about it, it's very much appreciated and it does warm our hearts. Thank you very much for that as well. Chris, it's been an hour, which means we got to go. We've run over time, but I don't think we have anything left to discuss. Next time we'll talk about shuffleboard. Next time we might have a little surprise. Something blue may be happening, but who knows? And Chris, we'll be back next week with much, much, much more. But now it's time for us to
drop it.
Drop it.
Drop it.
F-U-T. F-U-T. F-F-F-U-T. F-U-T. T. T. Interview. F-U-T.